Welcome back, Chosen Life Podcast. Gonna skip the intros, just jump right in because we're so excited. Week 3, and I want to change the world today. Alan, are you ready to change it with me?
Sure, sounds good.
So I'm gonna introduce myself, and then you introduce yourself, and then we're gonna have some discussion time. So, hi everybody. I'm Jonathan Hacohen, Kormans LLP, real estate corporate lawyer.
I'm Alan Wong, and I'm a realtor at Royal Page Signature and Art House Real Estate.
Hi, Alan.
Hello.
How many years have you been a realtor now?
I think it's been about 8 years, but professionally, but I've been doing real estate for more than 25 years.
And I got called to the bar in 2002, so I've been doing this for about close to 23 years.
Mm-hmm.
So we're like 2 decades each plus into this thing. Now, you have a bar. Into the bar walks in a real estate lawyer, a realtor, mortgage broker, right? 3 of them sit at the table. This is like a OREA, Humber College, realtor course test, or on the LSAT for a lawyer. You got these 3 professionals. Who's got the most difficult job and why?
Oh, I would say I might be biased here, but probably the real estate agent because we pretty much coordinate and we're kind of the middleman.
Guess what? I agree with you, but for a different reason.
Mm-hmm.
I've had this conversation. I've had friends in the industry, and I have one mortgage broker, one realtor that we often dine together and we discuss shop. Everybody believes somebody else's job is the most difficult, but you're the first realtor that admitted it's the realtor. Some say the mortgage broker, it's so hard to get the financing and they have to deal with that aggravation. The real estate lawyer, they got to close the deal. They're getting all the complaints. Things come up before closing. No, it's the realtor. Realtors out there, I respect you. I commend you because you have the hardest job. And I'll tell you the real reason why. And it's so simple. It's right under your noses the whole time. Because you have to create something from nothing. Mm-hmm. Nobody's really handing you leads from the sky. Unless you have miracle luck and you have Goldie Pixel in your pocket. But no, you need to create something from nothing. So you only get paid when you find clients, you find them properties, sell their properties, deals close. Mortgage broker, real estate lawyer, realtor often does the introduction. So they have that going for them. They are difficult jobs, yes. But first and foremost, to create business from nothing, very, very challenging. Mm-hmm. So I commend you, first of all. So now, us having this therapy session discussion, we're going to change the world today. In our line of work, let's think about this for a second. You dealt with realtors for over 20 years. I've dealt with real estate lawyers, realtors, mortgage brokers over the past 20 years. They seem to have very common personality traits for a lot of them. Stressed out, angry, high-strung. We're sitting here in a room with probably the calmest real estate lawyer, realtor. If I was going to work with you and I was going to do you, I was thinking about your marketing campaign. As I was grabbing my mug with my water, I was thinking in my head, Alan Wong, the Zen realtor, the spiritual realtor, the meditative realtor. For calmness in your life, in your home, call Alan. You could take that, by the way. It's free. But it would work. Mm-hmm. Why do we have so many colleagues in our industries, respectively, that are so stressed out?
I would say because it's such a fast-paced world, and all the industry is very fast-paced, and there's so many moving parts, and just to kind of coordinate all the different people lawyers and mortgage brokers and home inspectors, and it's like you're pretty much organizing this this party here, and sometimes things don't work out, and that could pretty much break that whole system.
And here's the thing about that party. Mm-hmm. When you have one person at the party that wasn't invited or doesn't know party etiquette, they can ruin the whole party, right?
Oh, for sure.
Buyer, seller, buyer lawyer, seller lawyer, buyer realtor, seller realtor. You have one person in here that isn't playing ball, isn't ready to play nice with others, has their own agenda. It can make life very difficult for the other people, right? Mm-hmm. So I'll tell you my secret. How about this? Can I share some secrets now to the outside world?
Yeah, sure.
Secret number 1. Other people's stress is not your stress. Mm-hmm. When somebody calls me up and says, hey, Got to talk to you. We have a problem. My response is, no, you have a problem. I'm going to sleep fine tonight. I'm going to change into my pajamas. I'm going to read a book and I'm going to go to bed. I'm here to help you. I, by all means, will support you. I'm here for you, but it's not my problem. Why do I do that? If I take that problem and create it to be my own problem, and I start marinating on this problem, and I start stewing on the problem, my therapist calls it ruminating. As you ruminate in bad thoughts, do good things generally happen?
No.
No. You go down the spiral. It's like the little snowball going down the hill, and it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. That's what bad thoughts do. So we decide the world, step number 2 now. So number 1, it's not my problem. Number 2, it is going to be what it's going to be. The situation is here now. Whether I created it or somebody else created it, it is now here. Can't change that. Alan, I don't own a time machine. I wish I did, but I don't. So we can't go back in time. We can't change things. So now, all I'm going to do is be the best me and do the best I can at this moment with what I'm given. And that's all I can do. If I'm choosing to be happy about this, sad about this, angry about this, frustrated about this, it's not going to change the situation. So me, with my emotions, cannot do anything about this situation. So how about just dealing with it, doing the best we can, and moving on in life? That's one of the reasons why, by the way, I became a real estate lawyer. Could have been a family law lawyer, could have been a criminal lawyer. Don't want to do that. Real estate, close deal, move on. Close deal, move on. I like that. Issue comes up, we're going to court, that's litigation lawyer. I'm here to close deals. So when I changed my mindset and I stopped worrying about everything else and just decided I'm going to focus and do my best, life became a lot easier. What's your secret? How do you stay being the Zen realtor that you are?
Well, I mean, I do have moments where, yeah, I go through like, a lot of stressful moments or even sometimes like, like meltdowns. Luckily that's, very rare. But
you've never sent me an email in all caps, by the way, which I thank you for.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I try to kind of, like you said, just try to stay calm because obviously, if you're making yourself like angry, stressed out, I mean, a lot of times it's really unnecessary. So it's best to kind of, try to avoid that because it does escalate and sometimes it does kind of, it could be contagious if you're working with other people, that kind of energy could spread or, vice versa.
And I've experienced over the years some amazing realtors, mortgage brokers, lawyers, and they're not in their industries anymore. And let's talk about realtors. I mean, you're working with realtors in your office, in past offices, on the other side of transactions, and you must have seen the same thing. Some really good ones, good numbers, known in the industry, award-winning producers, and they're out of the industry years later all of a sudden. Some drop out within a year, 3 years, 5 years, and they'll give you the excuses of, oh, I didn't have enough business or what be it. A lot of them, when you really push comes to shove and you really corner them and they tell you the real reason why, it was too stressful for me. I couldn't handle it anymore. I couldn't deal with issues and problems. It was too much for me. But yet there are people who are in this industry 30 years, 50 years, and they're thriving. Because the truth of the matter is, man, we go get a job at Walmart and we're working at Walmart and we're working at cash at Walmart, stocking in Walmart, which are great jobs for people that do it. You don't think those are stressful? You don't think, oh, we're out of supplies here. This is defective. Person can't get a refund. I know because I worked in retail. I worked in university. I worked at The Gap. I worked at Roots. And you don't think that in retail, people come to you with a million problems? It's very difficult unless you're literally painting seashells by the seashore and selling them at $1 a piece. Like every single job, every single career we're going to have is going to have stress. And one of the things that amazes me in a realtor, part of the luxury, I would say, the greatness of being a realtor, you get to be your own boss. You get to make your own hours. You decide how are you going to do this. Realtors that I know that left the industry to go, that they said, I want the security of a 9-to-5 job. Man, it's the year 2025. I don't know what security there is anymore, You never know how safe one's job is. What if your boss changes? What if your company's taken over? What if your job becomes redundant? Like there's so many factors in it. You start thinking about this stuff, it can make you physically ill. And this is where I tell people, you picked a profession, like you decided to come into real estate. You wanted to help people. You learned real estate. You started getting into assignment deals where you're helping people buy new construction and flipping those deals. You got into commercial transactions. Yeah, it's going to be stressful, but just stick in it and you meet some really good clients. They become your clients for life. They're so grateful. It's a pretty freaking rewarding career, is it not?
Oh, for sure. I mean, funny you mentioned that because actually I've quit my job. I was an architect before this, and yeah, actually for the same reasons, I was like overworked. Yeah, I was project managing. I was dealing with a lot of demanding clients, and working on these a lot of these condos are coming up. So it's a very fast paced, demanding position. So I found myself like really stressed out. My health was wasn't taking care of myself. My health was kind of deteriorating. So that was the reason why I went into real estate. There was that that relationship because I've worked in have a lot of experience in construction, design, and development. And for me, what really appealed to me is that I could work my own hours. I could work as much as I want or as little as I want, which is great. That way, I could really kind of control my stress levels, and also I could also control and manage my clients, and I could take on like a very manageable amount of work without overloading myself.
But the reality is, I mean, the stresses you had as an architect could easily be transplanted into very similar stresses as a realtor, right?
Yes, or any profession, yeah.
Right. It just comes down to what the perspective is. And sometimes it just comes to, I mean, I don't know if you found this or not, but what you love. Like at the end of the day, like I close my eyes at night and I ask myself, what's going to make you happy? When you go to sleep now and you wake up in the morning, what do you want to be? What do you want to do? What's going to make you happy? And I wake up in the morning, as I start my day, I plan my day, I think to myself, just do what makes you happy, man. Just do that. And I guess what you found in working with clients as a realtor made you happier than working as an architect, per se.
Yes, I mean, there's it really depends on on the situation, but as a realtor, you are kind of helping people. For most cases, at least in my case, helping them buy a home, which is a very substantial piece of their life, and it's really important. And for me, it's like I really want to make sure that I'm doing a good job and they're happy in the end.
Do you still read about architecture? Do you still look at it in your spare time?
Yeah, I do have a passion, love for good architecture and design, and I mean that also translates to what I'm doing in as a realtor, because I love seeing beautiful homes and design, and a lot of my clients like that as well. So it's really fun to do that.
And this is where it's still a passion and you can still have it as part of your life. It just doesn't have to be a career. I think about two of my passions. I side hobbies, nothing to do with law, nothing to do with real estate. I got into yoga, loved yoga, practiced yoga for thousands of hours. But I didn't go and become a yoga instructor. In my mind, I said to myself, this is my thing. This is my enjoyment. If I go and teach this, it becomes a business for me. It's going to suck all the fun and all the life out of it for me. And then later in life, I taught myself how to cook. And I've cooked over 130 recipes. I keep the list of the recipes and the categories, and I have the recipes and the tweaks, and I do it very slowly, passionately. I enjoy it. You're gonna go put me in a restaurant and give me a menu that's 6 pages long, and I'm gonna do the dinner rush. I'm gonna never cook again because it's not fun anymore. And this is one of the things I tell people, like, jobs can be stressful, jobs can be hard, it can be rewarding, but at the end of the day, they gotta be fun. There's gotta be fun in it. You gotta enjoy it. When you do something that you love and it doesn't really feel like a job anymore, it just feels like enjoyment. Like when I spend time with my clients, I spend time with realtors like yourself, and we're talking. This is enjoyment to me. I would do this when I'm 80, and I would never want to give it up. Then I know I'm in the right place. And so sometimes, you can question, the stress or what be it in a job, and I'm just letting people know, thinking about it. Sometimes it's so simple. Okay, you know what? This job isn't working for me, but maybe I just need to be in a different office. Maybe I need to be in a bigger company, smaller company. Maybe do a variation of my role. But there are people that try that out. They worked at 3 different companies. They tried all sorts of different roles and different sizes and different managers and different coworkers, different clients. And they're like, I'm not happy. And that's okay to admit that too, that it's not always for everybody. There's so many registered realtors in Ontario and Toronto, but very few of them actually doing transactions because it is a hard industry. But you stick with it long enough, man, it's great. Like I'm sure you could think off the top of your head, how many clients you put into their first home and transition their families. Like must be some of the best feelings in the world.
Oh yeah, definitely for sure. And the best thing is that I mean, like I'm so grateful and so appreciative that a lot of my clients they return to me or they give like really great feedback and referrals to me. So that's something I'm very thankful for.
If meditation was not part of your life, if you had found meditation, if you had been practicing it, if that was something that was not part of your being, if I was sitting with you here today, professionally and personally, you'd probably be a very different person when you.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, I mean, it's I would like I said before when I was working as an architect and dealing with all the demands and whatnot, and also the culture too. I mean, like we kind of work hard and play hard, and oftentimes take care of ourselves. So I'll probably be like maybe 30 pounds heavier, and like drinking and smoking, who knows what.
Absolutely. I remember working on Bay Street, as a young lawyer, articling, and they had Friday night bar where they pull out all the booze, and people boozing it to all hours, and then they go to the bar and the club and the pub, and they're gonna have more, and it's because they're dulling the pain, and it's sad, I was never like that, never wanted to be that, but I would say, like, I could sit here honestly, sitting here, I'm almost 50 years old. If I didn't have meditation in my life, I would be dead. I wouldn't have made it. The road that I was going on, the stress levels and how I was perceiving them from a young age. Like I'm in my early 20s, going to the doctor and I have chest pains and having to get the test done. And there's nothing wrong with you. And it's anxiety, it's depression. These are all really strong buzzwords that are there. And there's no one size fits all. Everybody's got different reactions to different parts of life. And there's no quick fixes that will suit for everybody. Everybody's in a different point. And I can say, meditation was the best medicine I ever took. Made me step back, assess where my life was at, where my passions were at, personally, professionally, who I am, embracing that person, not being mad at myself anymore, not hating myself, learning to love myself and being okay with me and getting to be connected with people. And it was, life evolved that way. And then, I realized I wasn't having very strong relationships with people because I couldn't connect with myself. When I had a bad self-image of myself, I couldn't see others, And I'm so grateful I found meditation and put it into my life because I'd be dead right now, quite frankly. And this is where, man, I'm sure you've had this. You've been in those meetings, you've had those phone calls, and person is yelling or going off on some tangent. And how many times have you told yourself, man, I wish they could just meditate and they would see things a lot differently.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you've seen that, eh?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So for those people, though, and especially the high-strung ones, and you know who you are listening right now, the words, when I tell them about my book and I tell them about the 6 commandments being, and, exercise, nutrition, sleep, water, a given. Everybody's doing them. Everybody should be doing them. These are very key foundational points in life. Yoga meditation is to start going to that enlightenment to the next level. How many times have you heard, I can't meditate, it's not for me?
All the time. But I mean, it could take just like one meditation to change your mind.
Were you a natural at meditation? Did you do your first meditation and be instantly enlightened and it was so easy? How did you find the experience?
To be honest with you, I don't remember the first time I meditated or how I got into meditation. Maybe it evolved from just doing yoga, and through yoga, you're, that in a way it's a form of meditation, but with movement. So that's how I got interested in that.
Well, more therapy time. We've had some good therapy time
We
these
did,
weeks.
yeah.
So my therapy time, man, I will tell you, yoga and meditation were the same for me. In that people say to me, "Oh, you're natural, but I can't do it," and I tell them, you think I stepped onto a yoga mat and I just instantly was zened? You think I started meditating and I could just zone out? Hell no. So yoga, first 6 months I was doing it about 3 times a week. I hated it. I hated every second that I was there. I had a watch on my arm and I would look at the watch and I'm like, it must have been an hour. And I looked, it's been 5 minutes. And meditation was the exact same thing. I just kept thinking. I'm like, this is so painful. I'm uncomfortable sitting here. What am I supposed to think about? Why can't I turn off my brain? Why can't I find enlightenment? I got to stop meditating. This is making me crazy. It was all in my own head, man. And I tried so hard. I tried so hard to practice yoga and I tried so hard to meditate. And then I came up with a plan. I'm going to show up to yoga. I'm going to show up to meditation. I'll just try to let go and just try to be. Remember we talked about Vipassana? My goal is to just be. I'm like, why don't we try this? Why don't we try not thinking about this for a while, just for the first while? As we're doing all the standing postures, let's not think about it. As they're instructing us through meditation, why don't we just be and not think about this? And just let's see what happens. The more I stopped thinking and the more I stopped putting pressure on myself, the easier I found it to let go. And the more I let go, the more all of a sudden I could let go in real life when I'm not meditating and practicing yoga and just focus on where I'm at, having a conversation with somebody, listening to what they have to say without my brain thinking of 10,000 things to retort. And life became much simpler. And man, it's those voices. To me, it was the voice in my head. That voice in my head was holding me back. And once I let him go take a nap, I found meditation started getting much simpler.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, definitely like meditation. It's almost like a vacation for brain. You don't need to go anywhere, and it's nice to actually have that moment to just relax. And unfortunately, like we all are so connected and like in a rush and to do things that we kind of lose that that time where we need to kind of that moment, that little break to kind of restore yourself.
And I could say from like an achievement point of view, I could say most of my life I didn't sleep very well and I didn't sleep very much. I taught myself how to sleep through meditation. I would use the tapes, guided meditation online, and they'd put on the soft music. And sometimes I would use just the music. Sometimes they'd have the guided meditation. You are now ready to sleep. Time to close your eyes. There's nothing to think about right now. It's so simple. Just close your eyes, prepare to sleep. Let's start counting together. 1, 2, 3. We need to sleep now. There's nothing else to do right now. Tomorrow will be tomorrow. Tonight, let's just sleep. And I was like, man, they are so full of it. And I fought the meditation, guided meditation for sleep for like about a month or two. And then guess what happened? I started falling asleep. I started giving in and I just let myself be. And now, man, I can sleep at will. It's the afternoon. I'm a little tired. I'm like, oh, I got this file. I got this client. I tell my brain, it's in the to-do list. You're going to deal with this tomorrow. Now is the time to sleep. And I guide myself to sleep. And life became so much simpler. So I'm going to challenge now those realtors and those people out there, those professionals that, man, meditation is not for me. I'm never going to do it. I don't want to do it. Give yourself the meditation challenge. For the next week, 5 minutes. Just sit down in the corner, turn the lights off, set a timer on your iPhone, on your Android. 5 minutes. That's all we're asking for. 5 minutes. And just sit, put your back against the wall if you want, lie down if you have to. Just put your arms down and just be for 5 minutes. 5 minutes, right? We're going to have 35 minutes for that week. And then if they want, build it up to 6 minutes, 10 minutes. And that's how you build a meditation practice. Yeah. And I think that at the end of the day, at law school, at realtor school, when people have to get certified, I think that they should make meditation mandatory. I think all professionals,
for sure. I mean,
architecture,
yeah.
right? Medical school, if everybody incorporated mindfulness, meditation into their practices professionally, I think they're going to get much more ahead. So this is the secret of life. Part of the thing is do not try so hard and just be. That's my advice for the day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say they should even teach it in school, like even grade school. I mean, like mental health is such a, serious, thing right now that we can't. I mean, it's hard for us to actually spend just a little bit of time for ourselves. And you can meditate even just for a few minutes, and it's better than nothing. And once you start practicing it, and you could go on for longer, and you really kind of it's almost like a drug in a good way, and it really calms yourself and puts you in a great state, and it's also good for your health, your mindset, and keeps you going.
And look, they have it in prisons. A lot of prisons now, they bring yoga meditation, and they find that's a very effective tool as far as working on mindset. They bring it more and more into grade schools, kids doing it from grade 4, grade 5 and on. They should be doing it in high school, college, university, the workplace. mindfulness, meditation could go a long, long way. So hopefully we gave some good advice and people are ready to start their practice or deepen their practice. And once you're there, if you want to learn more about doing a Vipassana, going for a 10-day silent retreat, reach out to us. We're happy to share with you some tips. Alan, as we end today's episode, people are interested to learn more about mindfulness, learn about real estate. How do they reach you?
Like many ways. Like I'm on like Facebook, Instagram. I have a website, so maybe you could provide like a link to that.
Absolutely. ALAN, Alan Wong, Jonathan Hacohen. It's been a pleasure hosting you for the last 3 weeks. Thank you so much for sharing the insights and tips. Looking forward to having you back in the future after we'll be Vipassana buddies because I'll have completed Vipassana and we could share the experiences and hopefully I make it back. But if I don't, I'm sure I'll be mindful wherever I am. See y'all back real soon. Chosen Life Podcast.